Good morning. Welcome all of you. Bande Matram. The topic is the psychic being is in direct touch with the divine truth. So this topic will be discussed right now on psychic being. So on psychic being, the topic we are going to discuss in brief. So here in the course, the soul, the psychic being, is in direct touch with the divine truth, but it is hidden in man by the mind and the vital being and the physical nature. Already we know psychic being, a soul, the spark of the absolute. It has come down into the. This is the same thing as psychic being. It has come down into the process of birth and rebirth, taking the carrying with it mind and life and the body, mind, vital being and the physical nature as its instruments. But the thing is that now these they are actually playing their roles for which the psychic being is hidden. So if there is a refusal of the psychic being new birth, the a refusal to become the child newborn from the mother, owing to the attachment to intellectual knowledge or mental ideas, that is a great thing. So, if there is a refusal of the psychic new birth, if there is, suppose this new birth, psychic is been not taking birth, refuses to take new birth, refusal to become the child, newborn from the mother, same thing, newborn from the mother. The reason is that owing to the attachment to intellectual knowledge and the mental ideas or to the vital desires, then there will be a failure in the sadhana. Failure in the sadhana. This refusal will create a failure in the sadhana due to the attachment of the intellectual knowledge or mental ideas or these vital desires. If this attachment is prominent, it is established, then you will find that failure in the sadhana. Then Sri Aurobindo moves forward. If you want a more swift and feasible progress, progress is there. You are sitting on the bus or boat, that the boat is running. So to some extent you are moving. But if you are that much particular on the swiftness and feasible progress, it can only be done well by bringing your psychic to the front. That is the major criteria, that is the major thing. Normally people are moving by their cycle, by walking, by their bullock cart or by bus or car they are moving. If you want to make it swift, naturally you have to catch hold of the aeroplane or supersonic. That is the only way. So here you have to bring for the swift and visible progress, you have to bring the psychic being to front through a constant self-offering. Constant self-offering, aspire intensely but without impatience. For that, for that swift and visible progress, the minimum condition is that psychic should be brought to front through a constant self-offering. Constant self-offering. So for that you must aspire intensely but without impatience. Impatience must not be there, but without impatience. Then Sri Aurobindo goes forward. Psychic being will not be need the support of intellectual ideas or outer science. Intellectual ideas or outer science or helps. It never needs, because it is self-sufficient in its own course of action. So it is alone that can give you the direct feeling of the divine. It is self-sufficient to give you the direct feeling of divine. So for that, actually, this intellectual ideas, outer science, and helps are not at all essential for that. It is self-sufficient. So the constant nearness, the inner support and aid. No, actually, constant nearness and feeling of the divine, the nearness and the inner support of the aid. So you have, you will not then feel the mother removed or have any further doubt about the realization, because it is their psychic, it is showing, it is expressing, it is actually modifying, and of course it is leading. So you can't file the mother remote or have any further doubt about the realization. The mind thinks, vital craves, but the soul feels and knows the divine. That is the basic difference, Mind thinks, vital craves, but soul, in the part of so far this soul's position is concerned, it feels and knows the divine. If you want to succeed in this yoga, here in the course, categorically. If you want to succeed in this yoga, you must take your stand of the psychic relation and reject the egoistic vital movements. That is the required condition. You must know the psychic condition, psychic stand, psychic relation, and reject the egoistic vital movement. The psychic being coming to the front and staying there is the decisive movement in the yoga. So these are the important conditions: psychic being coming to the front and staying there, staying. There is coming into the front and staying, not going back. There is the decisive movement of the yoga. So the only condition, you have to know the psychic being. You have to liberate it. You have to bring it to the front. You must have the opening. You must have the aspiration, intense aspiration without impatience. Everything you must know in clear. Or simply, everyone is going, I am going, it has go, it counts nothing. Really nothing, really nothing. So then, Sri Aurobindo goes forward. Happiness comes from the soul satisfaction. That is a great thing, our course. Happiness comes from the soul satisfaction, not from the vitals or the bodies. We are not here to please or get happiness from the vital or from the bodies. So this happiness, true happiness, it comes from the soul satisfaction. The vital never satisfied. The body soon ceases to move at all by what it easily or always has. Body soon ceases to be moved. That is the physical fatigue, inertia we have seen. Body ceases to be moved at all by what it easily or always has. Normally we see vital is never satisfied, and only the psychic being brings real joy and felicity. Real joy and felicity that you can get only through this psychic being. So again, Sri Aurobindo moves forward and says, aspiration, constant and sincere, the will to turn to the divine alone are the best means to bring forward the psychic. Most of the time, we keep asking, then what is the real reason so that we can get the psychic to be in front? That is the very crucial question and very interesting answer from the master is there. Aspiration, constant and sincere, and the will to turn to the divine alone is the best means to bring forward the psychic. You must have aspiration, constant, that must be constant and sincere, and a will. Second one, the will to turn towards the divine alone is the best means. Turn towards the divine and aspire constantly and sincerely. That is the only way to bring forward the psychic. Again, purification and consecration are true great necessities. You must have the purification and you must have the consecration. Those who have experiences before purification run a great risk. It must be better to have heart pure first, then the way of become, and then for then the way becomes really safe and safer. Heart must be pure. If heart purification is you have achieved, then everything becomes safe. So that is why I advocate the psychic change of nature first. Psychic change of nature first. Then actually for that means of the it needs the purification of a heart. So it is a great thing. You just try to think of the purification and the purification of the heart first for the psychic change of nature. That is inevitable. Purification of the heart. Then Sri Aurobindo goes forward and constantly tries to focus on this psychic being. Awakening means, what is it means by really the term awakening? Conscious action of the psychic from behind. Now behind the veil, psychic is resting, passive state, hidden, concealed, the divine inhabitant. It has been in a covert position, so we can see. So this awakening means conscious action of the psychic from behind. When the psychic means comes to the front. When the psyche comes to the front, it invades the mind, vital, and the body, and psychicizes them. So the problem is that you have the psychic being, definitely many of them, many they don't know what really it is. Suppose you know, but actually your problem that is that this psychic is inside you know, but you are not bringing to the front. The condition is that the psychic being must be brought to the front, and after this, if it is it comes to the front, it invades mind, vital, and the body and psychicizes them, their elements. So it comes based by aspiration and an on questioning and entire turning and surrender. That is the requirement. How it will come? It will psychic being must come to the fore, to the front, and its work is to invade. It is work is to, if suppose it is coming to the front, it will invade mind, vital, and the body, psychicize their movement, and it will be achieved by constant aspiration, on questioning and entire turning and surrender to the mother. That is the requirement here. The inner being, inmost being, we know, psychic is the inmost being, composed of the so see, outwardly it is external mind, vital, physical. Then we are going inside or turning inside, inner mind, inner vital, and inner physical. Then the psychic is the inmost support. That is the inmost supporting all others, supporting all others. So in most self is psychic being, it is supporting all. The psychic being is one's own individual soul being, one's own individual soul being. It is not the divine. We take it for granted, it is not the divine, though it has come from the divine and develops towards the divine. It is the one's own individual being, not the divine, but actually, it develops towards the divine. That's what we must take care of, and we must know. Again, it is the soul, the psychic being in you, behind the heart, very prominent, that awake and wants to consecrated the mind on the divine. So, psychic being, soul, behind the heart, awake, and wants to concentrate the mind on the divine. It is the nature of the mind. So, this mind, nature of the mind, to go out of the for other things. But now and then, it does that there is the unease in the heart, the psychic sorrow. Psychic sorrow, important, psychic sorrow, because the heart feels at once that something wrong, and the head also adjusts because resistance of the to the divine force. That time you can feel psychic sorrow, that great feel, you will see the great term we can find when you can find something wrong. Heart feels at once that there is something wrong, and mind feels the ache because of the resistance of the divine force at the work. So for that, actually, you can find the psychic sorrow. There is a thing that often happens in the early stage after opening of the consciousness to the sadhana. So after this, in the early stage, you can find all these things, all these mistakes, all these resistance, and later you will get the true solution. And finally, we'll try to quote the mother in a very deep manner. There is not one person in the million, who has the conscious relation with the psychic being, not even a one among a million who is having the constant conscious relation with the psychic being. For even for a moment, no union, no contact. The psychic being can work from within, but actually for the external beings, in such a visible and unconscious way, as if it does not exist. They are not at all conscious of this existence. So in most cases, mother course, in most cases, not one or two, in most cases, we can realize that in almost all the cases, in fact, the psychic being is asleep, not active. Then a kind of torpor. That's what you can find because of our negligence. We don't know. So it is only by sadhana and the persistent effort, sadhana and the persistent effort, you can find that one can arrive at a conscious connection through the being. So that sadhana is required, and personal persistent effort is required for the realization. Finally, mother quotes, I am always present in your psychic being. Very prominent thing, mother's assurance. It is there that you can and ought to find me, and when you will find me there, in the depth of your heart, you will recognize me, and in the physical form. That is what the requirement you try to concentrate in the heart. I am very much prominent in the heart. You have to search me, you have to find me, and you have to see my physical form. Vande Mataram.